Okay, so welcome to the first episode of Mad Science. Um, in this specific event, I will try uh, step by step to share you the why actually behind everything we do and everything we build, and also all of the crazy story behind our invention, and also actually why we do and we build all of the things we're building. Um, this is obviously the first episode, so I'm more like sharing the whole perspective and actually some news in general. So I will just give a moment that I will share to you um, some slides that I will use into this conversation. Give me a moment. Okay. I will paste them into the audience chat. Okay. This is actually the slide I'm using, so you can follow me using them. Actually, some of them talk also some of the thing I said during the spaghetti event, which some of you didn't look into it, and so it's a good idea to actually start talking about this. So first of all, the first things I want to share is why why we're here, and why actually Ethereum OS have this mission about making the industry of dApps better on Ethereum, and actually why this, in our personal perspective, is fundamental, actually, not just for the growth of the industry, but for the growth of the usage of dApps and real use cases about dApps. Because from Web 2 to Web 3 is like from desktop computers to smartphone. So Ethereum and the Web3 is expensive, is slow, but it have one feature that was impossible before, which is security, which is zero assumption, which is privacy, and all of the things. And so we strongly believe that the future of dApps will be a wave of application that actually respect all of the things. Because if you think about it, in Web 2, you actually trust the application you're using. You're trusting their servers, you're trusting their mindset, and you're trusting the regulations, actually, in the country where you are, that actually works as a security layer for you and your data from the application and this kind of stuff. Web3 is about different things. It's about the ability to actually not just know how much spatial powers external have, not just in your data, but actually in your money. But it's actually a place where you can choose application which there are no like special powers or some abilities that actually interact with your money or interact with your data or whenever will be built. And coming back to the example from Web 2 to Web 3 correlated to desktop and phones, for example, smartphones. When the smartphone industry started, we didn't use smartphone for Excel files, but the killer app of smartphone was application that used the new tool and not the old one. So something like Uber with the GPS, or something like Instagram, and so on and so forth. The same will be for Web3. And we strongly believe that the trust is actually the fundamental part of Web3. So we saw this wave of application from the 19 to the 2022, which was cool in some ways, but is part of the journey, is not the end of the journey, actually. Because most of the application, it's very difficult for user to understand how much ownership application has in their smart contracts, how much you're trusting the team, and so on and so forth. So that's bad, actually. Because I remember the first interface that we built when we explained for the first time our mission in dfohub.com. And something we wrote at the time was that the real game changer of Ethereum is to make like the application layer with the same security assumption you have from the blockchain layer. So the real disruptive things will be the ability in the future to having like applications which are secure and independent from teams, as the Ethereum layer is secure. And for us, if this is not respected, there is no value in using Web3, actually, because if you're trusting a team, there is no way you use Web3. Why you pay gas fees in general? Because the new thing that actually the Web3 give to us is that nobody can stop you to run code into Ethereum virtual machine, actually. And that's the real thing here, nothing else. Because we are in an industry that, if you think about it, it starts and it's here not because it's legal, but because it's legit. So the whole industry started because it was legit and unstoppable, not because there was some Bitcoin regulation or this kind of things. There was no a company behind to making Bitcoin a living thing, actually. And when we think about the future of dApps, we have to think about why we pay gas fee in general. So the easy way to explain this is you're using gas fee because actually you are running this code, and you're running this code because you can run it without need to trust anyone. We don't need to be the product of anyone, actually. And this freedom is obviously expensive. But paying your gas fees, you have the key, and you need to have the key about the security of your money or your holding on or anything you have on Web3 in general. And so I can skip the slides. You will see in the video because I already used, but it's different from where I want to go into this conversation. So at the end of the day, without to make you bored with this conversation about the security in Ethereum, the question we had when we start Ethereum SOS was, do we really need to pay gas fees as a security budget for our independence, our privacy, and so on? If we at the end of the day pay gas for, I don't know, using stable coin owned by states law, some stable coin which are not owned by states law, and the team have all of the possible permission. Imagine like Terra actually was one, the USD, and some others which are unfortunately they are live or some JPEGs which are maintained in some team servers, or game object that you use in an owned game, which is meaningless to have NFTs there actually, if nobody can stop you to use it into the game. So, or the funniest one actually, which is we can say our competitor into other basic structure, is the off-chain DAOs, which is actually like the most funny thing into the ecosystem for how it is today. So actually the idea to having like a token that is not correlated to like changing the protocol in some way, or like just express your vote that have a meaning into the whole thing, but just to express like your position without make any changes, which is actually like a fun token, but valuable into like billions of dollars in general. And so our position, because something that happened with this run was that there was a lot of people from outside, newcomers into the ecosystem of Ethereum in general. And all of these newcomers, they don't understand actually what is valuable or not into the blockchain. And also another thing that was like one of the worst thing that happened during this run was deregulation that didn't exist. So it's for most of the cases was like, oh, we can't create Ponzi's into the real world, but we can create Ponzi's into Ethereum. And that's bad in general, because obviously in the short term, Ponzi are always like, how can I say, more competitive than real sustainable financial and mathematical things. And something we think actually is that if we don't build real decentralized things in general, so things that are totally self-sustained, I think that at some point our base will figure it out that they can do the same thing in Web2 without need to pay gas fees actually. And so yeah, we are here since 2019 to provide this new stuff actually, which is designed to cover like the future of the industry, if the industry will want to go to the self-sustaining direction, which is the only why the industry here, because there is no value if we don't like go into these paths. Waiting. And I think any of you like um, our change into our approach and communication since last month when we started to actually unveil Ethereum's labs, so our lab in general. And we started to actually express this idea we have in something we called layer 1 plus, actually. So imagine you having like the layer 1 of Ethereum, which is the EVM in general. And the layer 1 plus is building into the layer 1, but into a factorized Ethereum. So adding this factory level from the EVM to the application layer that makes us not just more secure, not just more independent, but also make us very easy to actually understand the quality of your holding, the quality of your tokens, your NFTs, items, and the quality of the application you're using, the quality of the organization you're trusting, and all of these things. And this is all about having this idea of factorized Ethereum. Because with factories, it's not just the idea to clone and customize an existing code on Ethereum based on building not just your smart contract, but your smart contract as it should be a platform like. And so you have this level of security because you're secure that is not yet the new fork and deploy of an ERC20 and poof, it's an honeypot. I know that most of the people had this experience during this run one time, for at least one time. And but you are secure about the transfer function of this token, for example, if it's an item. And there is no way that someone can scam you with the transfer function. Same, for example, for covenant farming. So you can create your farming contract based on your token in the liquidity pool you want. And you are secure about the whole application. And so you're secure that if you farm based on a covenant farming clone, you're secure without any kind of assumptions that you can put your money there, you receive your reward, and nothing bad can happen. But also, something that is very cool about factories or factorized Ethereum is that with factories, you can just call one smart contract to receive all of the data you need to actually make your choice. So, for example, in the upcoming interface for organizations, it's very easy because of the permission system we built to actually see how much you can trust your organization, how much this specific choice is decentralized, or this other specific choice as a host that maybe can change it. And this is spectacular for the end user because this is what the end user needs, actually, in general. For something we called actually the FUD tree force. The FUD tree force, it's basically a trilemma, which is something that let users out from the web tree and for Ethereum. And also not users, but also builders. Because there are these three issues, which are, one is contract security. Because actually building on Web3 is low, needs a lot of expensive tests. And so what's happening? What's happening is that some teams they are put some um, owner based function to change some part of this, um, and usually they don't shield this thing. They try to avoid talking about this usually, and another part of the trilemma is actually the contract permissions. So Web3 is actually an nano world, and permission of contracts are fundamental, and they need to be simplified, and they need to be easy to be verifiable. So, for example, this is something that it's very a realistic game changer here is factories with both of these problems, because they require. So there is this general idea of uh, contract security. um, it's it's like, okay, we share this contract and nobody can change it, which is actually good. Or some teams say, okay, we put this contract, but we can change a little bit of things. And some other project they just put, okay, this is the contract and we can change anything. We can change all of the stuff there. And this is the part of the third trilemma thing, which is the legal uncertainty. Because if you actually have some ownership into the contract, so uh, from um, just give me a second, from big uh, from big power, there are also like big responsibilities. And so what are the legal responsibilities for this? And this is another problem of the trilemma. So people are afraid to work and use Web3 in general for lack of clear legal implication and responsibilities. And this is a thing which is very, very important to actually solve, not in terms of country regulation, because we can't do this. We can't like deploy a smart contract for a country and that's it, that's new. But about like giving to teams like a very, very simple way to actually manage the permission of an application, the permission of a token, the permission of an item, the permission of a farming contract, which is easy verifiable, but also they can change the level of responsibility they want to have. So from, for example, totally no, it's not irresponsible, to totally okay, we can change anything, to okay, we can just create like a granular organization like ours to make some to let people decide, holders with different like governance rules. We can create like a permission system where both, so the team and also older can agree to change things, or they can just maintaining the hosting, and maybe in the future like building the governance of this, or actually just letting don't be changeable. And so something that is very need into Web3 is to make all of these permissions not just easy to switch between these, but also like easy to be verifiable. And that's why most of the teams are like really, really short-term focused, because with legal uncertainty, it's very difficult, and you need to be very, very brave in general to actually like try to building in blockchain for the long run. I can assure that. And so, what is why we're building this? Why granularity fundamental? Why a permission system, so the plus layer of Ethereum is fundamental, is because so for contract security, the factorized Ethereum is perfect. You have one audit to secure them all, actually. So you just need to audit, like, how can I say, not the single contract that you use, but actually like the platform to clone the contract. Our sophisticated general purpose permission system, which is guilds, and so it's very easy to verify, and the host can change it quickly and switch to a more decentralized version if they want to build like the granular governance for each permission that they have. And so for the first time in Ethereum, it will be what you see is what you get, actually. And also like this overpower flexibility, which is actually the granularity. So because one of the problem that I think I hosted an event about this into our YouTube channel. I mean, well, I think 1 year and a half ago about this, because I totally agreed with one post from Vitalik at the time. It was about that the trilemma of governance, actually, and why it's fundamental to having like granular, so having different decision with different governance rules for each decision, with different incentives to actually be part of a guild organization or a DAO or whenever. And also it's very important that the governance of an organization is not like just an excuse to create a token, but is something that help the protocol to be better, to like solve different missions and to solve different stuff. And for us, the first real world product that actually is like this is the tOSchi.eth guild, the tOSchi organization. And so why tOSchi is fundamental for this? Because the factory is, so the plus of the layer 1 plus is so important, and this will change actually Ethereum into the long run. It will change the whole industry, because at some point I think building on top of tOSchi will be magic, will be so cool, and will be like, so it will be like very, very more secure also for users, that when they will start to actually care about the security and the ownership of the contracts, they will start to really, really love what we are building, actually, and the application on top of this. Another thing is to cover some of the application we think that they need to be built. And so that's why we built like on-chain organization, which is a part of the industry that actually nobody had the incentives to build during this run, because just people were like, okay, with just an off-chain voting, and and so nobody wants to actually build a real on-chain organization designed to be active, self-sustained, and to be a realistically plus to the protocol for the next years to come. And building this as a general purpose permission system was the real idea that we figured out was fundamental to achieve our goals. Because at the end, on-chain organizations are not like a box or something. On-chain organizations are just permission system on top of any kind of object protocol, and so on and so forth. Other thing is items. So a lot of people, I remember at the time when we developed items v1 and items v2, they said, oh, why they are building items? And I think this makes sense because another realistic issue, another big application of the Web3 is object and monies, so holding things. And the problem about holding things is that, this is my, I don't want to let Ethereum, like the version of Ethereum tOS, but this is my personal, I want to share with you. I fundamentally think, and I think also that most of the people in the industry thinks like this, that the real success of NFTs is not the non-fungible thing. It's just that normie is like metadata in general. And so what we wanted to achieve with item is to solve two big issues. So the first one was an issue about the de facto that if you are a DApp, you're using tokens, it's very easy to know all of the existing tokens in general, because you can't have like the list from the blockchain. You have to hard code them into your interface, which is very bad in general. The information of every object on Ethereum, which is so important when having the information on Ethereum in the most secure way as possible. And from some metadata you can just call from the blockchain when you are opening it up, not from some external list or stuff like this. And also the hosting of object on Ethereum, which is very important to take it seriously and to let it as granular as guilds are, because we are going into a future where we have a lot of objects on Ethereum with different permission needed to actually having them working, and make this not just factorized but very, very easy to verify is something we think is very important for the next years to come. Imagine when we will have like on-chain games or different use cases, which are not just like a meme token with an image. Sorry, I'm not a big fan of the NFT space in general, but that's my personal view. It's not the Ethereum tOS view. And another thing is DeFi tools, because most of the DeFi tools like vote to run a swap or farm a token, it's very, very a considerable security challenge to build this in general. And most of the project, they have to be focused on their own product, actually. So they don't need to be focusing to building like the farming contract, which is the same for everyone. It just changed like the liquidity pool, the reward per block, and these kind of things, but the logic is similar for everyone. And so Ethereum tOS not just give you the factorized Ethereum, not just give you the general permission system, not just give you the objects which are secure, and they are already designed to having this, to be part of this general purpose permission system, but also DeFi applications, DeFi integrations for every project and every app, because you can have like all of your business logic, but you have to integrate your token, your object with the must use a DeFi integration as a financial tool in general. And so that's why we have these directions. And something I want to say about this is that we have a lot of things that we are working on. It would be this summer will be very, very busy for us in general, because we are releasing a lot of stuff into our roadmap since here to not just this summer, but also like November, December, and so on. And so you will see about this. I can't say nothing, actually. So yeah. Other things I want to say, for who didn't spend time to actually like read the Ethereum Labs page, is our vision about what and how companies, real world companies behind dApps should work. And I think we finalized like the most sophisticated and also fair relation between the protocol and the company, which is very independent actually, because we were one of the few teams that actually were able to build in Web3 and to grow and to build something which is very big, without need to like having like without need to be VC backed, but totally independently. And so we didn't have like big VCs that dump the token in face of people, all this kind of stuff, or they have a huge power in the governance and of a protocol and this kind of stuff, which is cool. But also like the granular governance also helps to don't make them too much, don't have too much powers actually. And so the relationship between Ethereum Labs and the protocol is that the protocol is totally self-sustaining, and that's one of the coolest part of Ethereum OS in general, because it's one of the few at the moment which is independent from the team. In this case, so what is Ethereum Labs do? Ethereum Labs do is to actually just pushing the adoption and the usage of the protocol forward. So not just building new things and propose updates to the OS holders, but it's about building also like Web2 features and also like a lot of stuff actually that I can share too much info about this, but a lot of stuff I can say. But the coolest things of it is Ethereum Labs can die, but for Ethereum OS, nothing changes. So imagine in the future of like the interfaces and all of the things about Ethereum OS, you can have like two interfaces, which one is the 100% decentralized one, and the other one is like co-hosted to having like cool experience with all of the analytic stuff, with all of these things. And first thing that can happen is that if countries try to attack us and say, oh, don't let people from, I don't know, UK to use your application, okay, you can just go into the other, which is not hosted. And also, if Ethereum Labs will die at a point, you can just use Ethereum OS without all of this boosting. You can run into your own server. And so the Ethereum Labs that we'll have is like business things about Web2 tools, but all of these tools are designed to empower the Ethereum OS protocol adoption and usage. And so there is a clear and cool independence between the two. And I'm really like, I think is phenomenal how these things work in general, and what we set up for the next year to come. And And okay, so this is like the first episode of Mad Science, which is like a chat with me about uh, why we're doing things. And this episode was a little bit generalistic because I wanted to just having like a big overview about the things. But in the next episode, we can like chat about a lot of things and decision we did and we are doing. And I think this will be cool actually to having also like the philosophical and mathematical um, information about like every decision and every acting we do. And so, yeah, I hope you like it. And also, I want to share you in terms of governance the OS app 2, which is already live actually. So you can go to ethereumos.eth.limo or .link and just look at it. Just give me a second. I have to switch into the recording. This. Okay. This proposal can sound a little bit strange for some of you because you actually don't know what we are to release actually, and it's another subsequence of the purchase we did last days, because I can't say too much informations, but there is yeah, I know. Do you want decentralized stuff? They're slow. This is why we will also add like a Web 2 powered version, and so everything can go smooth. But if you don't like us and if you don't trust us, just you can just use the 100% decentralized one and go forward. But by the way, the OSAP 2 is a proposal we are doing that is like the phase 1 of 2 from the OSAP 3, which will go into October. And so it's about a buyback from the root wallet that, if nobody knows, the root wallet is a wallet which is used for different events, actually, that can be like security things, that can be like rewards or these kind of things. And with this 100 ETH from this treasury, with the OS App 2, we are buying OS with this. And this is not correlated for like a price or DeFi thing, but is for like a reward strategy we have from October to the 2022 for how can I say, a real disruptive protocol that is coming that you don't know already, and you will love it actually. But I can say nothing about this at the moment. And so what will happen is that we are taking this 100 Ethereum, we are buying OS, and we are sending OS to the root wallet of the Ethereum Swiss organization, and they will be used after the OS App 3 to actually after another proposal to actually reward these things into October 2022. Just give me a second, I'm opening. Yeah, Davey, don't worry, it's not something shady. It's how can I say? Um, how can I say without spoil anything? Um, it's something that I really care about. I think is something that if you think about, we always how can I say? As a little bit, as a little bit, as a little bit, uh, as a little hint, we always missed it into our stack. But if you think about, is logical that we should have this. And also, another thing is that it's not like something you are thinking now, but is a tool that actually disrupt, as you know it right now, an entire industry. This is the only thing I can say. Yeah, I know you were not skeptical. You just wanted to know more. And the only thing I can say is that is both obviously on layer one is both an optimistic, because if you are following us, you know that we are like going to Optimus very soon. Actually, I can say that we are preparing a lot of stuff actually, so you will have this news very very soon. And to answer, yeah, there is a question here. Okay, will there be a plan to encourage the adoption of this new distribution? Yeah. Obviously, the adoption. Okay, because you're talking about deck is very cool. Hoping there is some plans. Okay, so something I can say is that this OS will not use to reward an application that already and existing. Okay. So it's for something that is totally new into the whole ecosystem. But this application is also designed to actually put deck, how can I say, into a new level. So it's correlated also with DEX. Yeah, I think. Yeah, how can I say information without leaking things? Oh man. But it's also created to deck, and also will be a real and it will very very empower the user of decks. Obviously, decks were released when we decided to change our communication in general, and so we didn't like advertise them or like shield them to our project too much, but it's part of the journey. So we will start to actually very soon to having like our roadmaps to actually having like adoptions into decks in general. We just approach the release into like the wrong moment, but we are not like taking them behind, but we are like to actually try to empower them in the next months to come. And this release will be a part of this actually, but I can't say things about this. But actually, it's something that I can't wait to see your reaction when it will be released. I think it's something that you can expect, but you can't expect how disruptive and cool it is, actually. Let's investigate. Does it fly? So that's it for the mad science. I think right now I ending the recording actually.